The most... thank you, Candace. Very nice. Okay, she's going insane now, right? Okay, cool, nice, good
Okay,
news.
you guys are crazy. You guys are absolutely crazy. The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. She got the call. She's betrayed us. She's doing something else. I can't believe it. This has all just been a show. Calm down, okay? What do you think happened? Erica said, stop. And then I was frozen for 4 hours and 30 minutes, just like, as I just put all of these talking points into my head. That is not what happened. I keep telling you guys, I am not governable. I am basically akin to Kanye West. I never felt more seen
That's not
than
a
when
good
he
thing.
tweeted a lot of years ago, just fired my manager because I realized I can't be managed. That is me. That tweet right there, I was like, oh, God.
Well, are you serious? Are you,
I get this.
bruh?
Nobody
Dude,
is
what?
changing their mind anything. How ridiculous would it have been if I'm doing all of this, investigating, asking all of these questions, and then Erica Kirk offers to answer some of these questions, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. I can't betray them. I don't want any answers to the questions. I just want to ask them.
Yeah, okay.
No, this is the entire reason we are doing this. We've been looking at the situation going, why can't Turning Point USA just answer basic questions? And I can tell you guys that yesterday, for 4 hours and 30 minutes, there were no rules. They said you can ask us any question that you want, anything that's on your mind, which I appreciated. And some of you guys are thinking, who is they? Who is they? It's the Jews, obviously. Just kidding. Justin Strife. Justin Strife was in the room. It was just Justin Strife and Erica. George joined me just for the beginning portion of the conversation because he had that thing going on that I told you on the 15th all day. He was in a conference.
He's so funny,
And then
dude.
I brought my cousin Mia, you know, the one that has a really bad attitude. I just bring her there for vibes. I think it just confuses people. They're like, I don't understand what's this person doing here. And the reality is she's like always just listening to Cardi B music.
Okay, avoid.
But she's my cousin and I always have her around. And so that was it. She was kind of sitting a little bit away, but at the table it was really just the four of us until George left. And I will be honest, I did not know what to expect going into the room. I did not know if they were going to be open. I didn't know what Erica's energy was going to be like, if it was going to be more of an argument.
Erica's energy.
If there was going to be legal threats. You guys were telling me not to drink water, so I didn't drink water. Well, I brought my own water, but I didn't drink that water too. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, okay?
Wait, what? Why? Exactly? About this water part? What? Your viewers told you to not drink water, and you took advice, and you didn't drink water, but you brought your own water, but it's okay because you didn't drink water. Wait, what? What? Huh? What are you talking about? Excuse me, Mrs. Foodshops, is the deluxe edition of Arc Raiders meaningfully worth it? Oh, thank you. Well, you should play with me. I'll teach you. I'll carry you. Actually, I can't carry you. I'm sorry, I can't carry you, but I'll play with you. Candace with the paranoid schizophrenia? Yeah. Yikes.
And the conversation started with Justin Strife.
I'll use my best gear when I'm with you, okay?
What are we looking to accomplish here? Like, what is the actual aim of this conversation? And he was pretty clear, and Erica was very clear, that they were sort of most upset with, obviously a bit of a fever pitch, when I tweeted that it was a godforsaken company and people should not give money to it. And I have to own that. That's aggressive. That is actually aggressive in the retrospect. I was very frustrated. And I don't know, I felt like we weren't getting any answers and there were so many lies. And then I was getting attacked for asking all meaningful questions that was within their
friendly.
And I told you, I definitely, my problem in life is that I can rise to anger very quickly. I shared with them that I really felt like I was under attack.
Is the deluxe edition worth it? No.
Casually, when I mentioned the Catholicism thing.
Don't get it.
What was that about? I was like, look,
don't get it. You just get the $40 version.
Alex Clark and Andrew Colvett then jump onto a podcast and they're doing that weird interview, which is clearly aimed at me. And they've teased the interview. It's like aimed at me, but they never said my name. You get lots of aesthetic shit already. Like it was the first.
Not needed.
I don't know, I got the first bit of mud that was slung. Which their answer for that was, hey, that was a really crazy time.
Amazing.
A new system had to be put into place, and by no means did Erica give any person the authority to go out and say that the Catholicism thing was a lie. It kind of turned
32 right now? Get it.
Whatever. Okay, that kind of obviously was not the meat of the reason that
friendly.
we wanted to sit down. I will say I was
The
immediately refreshed by the
one,
fact
the
that
most
one of the
common
first
word
things that
ever
Erica
used in
did
this game,
was she
friendly.
owned the lies, or rather, I guess they would cage it as miscommunications that were coming from various people at the company. Like, look, this is a company with 650 people that are employed.
What the hell?
Everybody
What was
at this time is
that?
exceedingly emotional, and they are communicating. And no matter what somebody says on Twitter, they assume that this communication has come down from management, and that's not
The
always the
hell?
circumstance. But they owned right away, which felt great, that if you guys recall,
Nothing
Erica sat down
valuable.
with Glenn Beck. I actually missed this
What?
portion because I didn't get to watch the interview in its entirety.
I think I need to
There's a lot coming out
extract.
very quickly, but there was a portion that was going around that was viral.
I have too many
it was
keys
Erica
right now.
saying that she had Charlie's phone and that Charlie
get the
never
fuck
texted
out.
anybody
Keys are
the
too
night before,
valuable.
saying that he thought that they were going to kill him, and that obviously reflected poorly on me because I was the one who said that he did in fact text multiple people the night before. And
Keys.
then I went on Jimmy Dore on Friday, Jimmy Dore show, and I clarified. I said Andrew Colvett told me.
Misaki, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. You're very kind. You're like one of the best for people ever. Actually, sorry, I'm like building stuff. Thank you.
Specifically, that he was one of the people that received this text message. So I got that first person. I didn't get that from a source. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. And then somebody who had access to Dan Flood's communications said that Dan Flood similarly received a text message. They owned that right away and explained. Erica said that she has Charlie's phone. She's looking at his iMessages. And it turns out that he, like everybody else, communicates on Signal. He communicates on Telegram. And that when she heard me say that, they then went and looked, and yes, that what I said was true. Andrew Colvett received a message the night before, and Dan Flood received a message the night before. Now they asked me if I had actually like a concrete a copy of what Dan Flood
Macron
got the
asking
night
Trump for
before,
Greenland,
and I
Candace
said no.
Owens.
Somebody
Oh my
told me what it
Lord.
said, which was almost exactly what Andrew said, which is they're going to kill me. Andrew did not know who they were, that he was referring to were, but they clarified that the message that Dan Flood received said the left is going to kill me. So I can't confirm that one way or the other. I have to trust them on that because I did not see that concrete message. I was told that it said they. Now, obviously, we discussed the moment, and I'm laughing here because you TikTokers are actually out of control. You guys are going to be the reason that Israel gets TikTok because you guys are acting a fool all the time. And the videos were so hilarious of you guys mocking the Barry Weiss interview. It's
What
great.
does she
It's good to
mean
laugh
by
at ourselves.
this?
And Barry Weiss is always worth laughing at. But I was sort of like, hey, I felt name checked by the podcaster, Candace Owens, this obvious setup, and then asking me to stop. And it's interesting to hear Erica say that the reason she didn't ask me to stop in the beginning because she was actually learning things from the show. She was actually learning things, and that I think she similarly felt that Barry Weiss was trying to create a moment. Obviously, it's who Barry Weiss is. It's the Zionist lobby. She's trying to right perceived wrongs because I'm against her side. That
what do you mean she's learning from your show?
Why Barry Weiss exists. That's the reason they put her at CBS, is because she's just committed
What do you mean by that?
to stacking the audience with people that are going to present the pro-Israel cause and talk about anti-Semitism and talk about like crime being on the rise. It's kind of an embarrassment, but I actually do accept that. And I should also clarify that Barry Weiss obviously
she received the call, guys. It's over.
Random, like
Candace is no longer on our side.
We're coming to the mic and it was an open mic and they didn't know if they were going
the
to
fall
get.
of Candace Owens.
Planned by Barry, but
She
Erica
kissed
said
the
that she had the
ring.
general idea, like they were going to mention me and mention the conspiracies, but she was not given that specific, the podcaster Candace Owens question. So I think that's fair to clear that up. Now, I did not at all recant any of my suspicions, and I understand people disagree
She's
with
freaking
me
out of her mind.
about
what?
particular
No,
blood
she's
from
like one of the
USA.
most sane people I've ever seen.
What I communicated in front of the whole
What?
world.
No way.
My skin crawled after I spoke to Terrell Farnsworth, the person who took the cameras down. He lied to me several times. I explained to them, which felt good to have that direct communication, how Terrell lied multiple times, and that I did not understand why he was there that day. They echoed what he said. They defended what he said, that they were trying something new that day, that they typically live stream, which is what Terrell said. They typically live stream, and I said every college event. Well, they said, well, yeah, they live stream the events that are tour stops, but they don't live stream like the outside prove me wrong type events. And that was something that was new, and it required Terrell. And I said, even if that was all real, if that was all true, I still didn't feel good about the conversation that I had with Terrell, and I can't ignore my gut about the many little lies that he told. I thought the video he recorded was weird. I know he comes from a very powerful family. I personally do not trust him, and I obviously do not like the fact that I said, Tyler Boyer lied about this thing and said, came up with an excuse and said, well,
Tyler
Tara was asked to take the camera down. That's the reason, he said on
transgender
Twitter,
confirmed?
because the police wanted him to take it down and secure the footage. And I said, I know that's not true. And they said, well, after all of that, after he took the cameras down, there was a police officer or Fed, whoever it was, that spoke to him and asked him to secure the footage. Well, that makes sense. I got the game for me and Moogs. But it's not the reason for why he took it down immediately. It makes sense that as you're investigating, you're going to say, who's got the footage? Let's lock it down. But it didn't make sense to me that Tyler Boyer lied about it. And I don't trust Tyler Boyer. And that is never going to change. Similarly with Rob McCoy. He makes my skin crawl. I can't explain it. I look at him and he's a bad person and nobody can make me feel one way or the other about that. I was surprised to learn, and this is kind of gets into, I guess, us not knowing the inner workings at Turning Point USA, that Rob McCoy actually does not work with Turning Point USA in any capacity whatsoever. And so him communicating as he has done, like, I'm the pastor, I'm this, I'm that, it's just not real. Like, that is not real. And we should know that that's not real. And when he says that, call him out on that separately from Turning Point USA. I was operating under the assumption that he worked for Turning Point USA. And I said, if obviously that's wrong, I'm happy to correct that. But also, what were we to assume when he hit the stage of Memorial and said, I'm America's pastor, and then had the Wikipedia updated and said, well, I'm assuming he had it updated because who else would do that he started Turning Point USA Faith. So I guess, to be clear, we were just wrong about that. And I will have a lot more to say about Rob McCoy and where I believe he fits into a lot of things. So I'm not letting up on that. Now, one piece of this where I still don't understand it. And
this game, man.
The magic bullet. Okay. Now, we all recall what happened. I casually say on the show, hey, I saw the footage. There was no blood. And honestly, when I said it, I didn't process how big of a deal that was with the 30-06. Very quickly, what happens is Andrew Colvett whips up this tweet about what happened with the bullet, and he said he wanted to address all the discussion that was being had about the online chatter. I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He says, I apologize, it's going to get graphic, but he spoke with the surgeon. The bullet should have gone through. The surgeon then explained that what he's typically seen on these wounds, and basically this was all a miracle. Charlie saved lives, even in death. And the internet clocked it. This miracle, the healthy bone, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive. Like, this is a quote, by the way. His bone was so healthy. I want to read it. This is allegedly from a surgeon. Quote, his bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. It should have gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. And we were just like,
I want to come back in again.
That kind of was like the beginning of the WTF, right? I feel like that was kind of the beginning of it. And immediately
it's already
people
looted?
in the comments responded to Andrew, and he said, this individual said, this post is so fake as it would violate.
Wait, how is it already looted?
There's patient privacy. You can't just call up the surgeon.
What?
And Andrew Colvett replies and says, rest assured, I would not have posted without full permission. Now, he said he spoke to the surgeon.
My ninja.
That Andrew spoke to the surgeon. But
My
that they did
ninja,
not
you
know
made me
that he was
waste
going to
the
write that
fucking
tweet.
key.
They did not know that he called up the surgeon. So, like, it very much came across to be like Andrew was just flying by the seat of his pants. I don't know. Like, he was just flying dark on me. And I was like, that seems very strange to me, because why would a surgeon do that? Like, the first thing the surgeon should say is, I can't speak to you. I don't even know, in theory, Andrew wasn't even there when Charlie died. I don't even know why the surgeon even knows this guy, actually. Maybe he hung around after, but, Andrew was not one of the people that got to the hospital or anything like that. So this is quite literally the PR guy who's calling the surgeon. And so
No.
That just seems very inappropriate for a person to do, period. And I would say it was kind of the beginning, but that was what I got from that. Now, obviously, we discussed the security. I brought up Brian Harpole, this interview with Sean Ryan, and I think we can believe Turning Point when they say that they did not approve of this. They had no idea he was going on Sean Ryan. I think that's pretty clear. I don't believe he works there anymore. So that was kind of him. Just getting out there and perhaps trying to rescue his own reputation. And I think that only made his reputation worse, actually, because people rightfully sensed that he wasn't telling the truth in that interview, that he was being cagey, that he was saying things that didn't make any sense. Again, you constantly have these people that believe, like Brian Harpole, that with enough performance, he can sit down and you're just going to convince people that this is real. And
are you actually for real? Come on.
Like I said, these TikTokers are out of control. They will check you in 4 seconds. Okay. Things that the biggest piece of this that I want to communicate, and that I did communicate to them, and I hope that they took me seriously on this, or rather that they take my strong advice on this. I said, one of the reasons why I really want to sit down is because I want to walk out of here and feel confident saying to my audience, hey, like, there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. Like, that more will come out, but you can take it from me that this is what happened. I was looking to achieve that because there's been a lot of signaling from various people, some people who are experts, some people who have been involved in cases, that there's obviously going to be stuff that the public does not have access to. And so it is at least plausible that they have seen very clear footage that we've been asking for of Tyler Robinson getting up there and taking the shot. Like, they have access to UVU cameras. So I was hoping to hear that. And I said that I want to hear why
At least she
feel so
accepts
confident
that
in
part.
USA that Tyler Robinson is the guy. And at this point, they elected to call the lawyer, like, you know, their lawyer who is involved in this case, one of the lawyers that's
Are you
involved in this
actually
case.
for
There's always a
real?
team of lawyers, especially
Move.
for something like this. And what I got
Are
from
you
the
actually
lawyer
for real?
did not make me feel that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. It did not make me feel confident that he didn't or did shoot Charlie Kirk. I was very surprised by this. He
I
spoke
don't know where
a
I'm
very long
going.
time.
I don't know
asked,
where I'm
you know,
going.
can you share
I
with
don't
me
know where
what
I'm
it is?
going.
And I said,
I don't
when
know.
you share with me,
No,
I will not
come
say
on.
what that thing is.
I don't know where
That's
I'm
when
going.
We want to
I don't know where I'm
protect the
going.
case. I'm not gonna. If you say we've got the footage of him taking the shot, I promise I won't say that to the audience. But I will communicate to them that you have something that is solid. And no, to the exact contrary, this guy effectively said, not effectively, he
Oops,
said
wrong button.
that they have nothing but the affidavit. Okay, so what you have, what we have seen is what they have. What is being discussed publicly, you are this whole like non-expert problem with like, well, you don't know. It's like what you read, his messages that don't have any dates on it, Tyler Robinson writing out everything and the clean alibi. That's what they have.
too many.
And what he explained to me was that that's
too
the
many.
affidavit
No,
stage. That's where,
I
that's
have
where it's
to-
at. And then what
That's
takes
the
place
problem.
now is the investigation is ongoing,
God,
right? So
I'm gonna
right
drink
now
my
they're
coffee.
looking for more information. And once investigators, they could very well have obviously footage, and that is why they might feel that, oh, we're definitely gonna get this prosecution. But the reality is they don't actually share that information with the victim. They don't share that information with Erica. They don't, in this part of the process, they will not know what investigators have discovered. This is what the lawyer told me until May. Okay, they have not seen anything that you have not seen. Is what I want you to know. So, with that in mind, I'm sitting here going, why are you signaling? Why do I feel like the public's being gaslit on this? There's been nothing that's convincing. There are so many commentators who have gone out and said to you, it's
Help.
overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming.
Help.
The
Do
text
you have a
messages
defib?
that don't have a date, that
Do you
don't
have
even
a
sound
defib?
real, that's overwhelming. That to me feels really fake and gay. I really
you.
do want to say that to every
you
commentator
so much.
that is out there trying to tell the
Oh my
public
God,
and insisting
bless
that
your
you've seen it
heart.
enough times to become real. You're actually just being dishonest. And I
Oh
offer
my
that a
God.
more honest way to communicate would be to say, we think he's involved. We feel strongly. I've said that. I think he's involved. We are
Bro.
very hopeful that throughout this investigation, we are going to get that concrete thing.
Thank you for not
And that's
finishing
where we're at
me.
right now.
I
That's just the
appreciate that.
stage that we are at. That is not what we are getting from them. That is like, I just feel like that's really important to let you guys know. Let the gaslighting stop. They have what you have, okay? There is nothing else. They are in an investigative stage. Erica has been named as the victim. They will know more in this May hearing, which is the probable cause hearing. That's what the lawyer told me. It's probable cause hearing. And that's when they will see the evidence. That's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence. Until then, okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have, I am very confident stating the opposite of all of my, I guess, well-paid peers in that I don't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. And what I also said to them was,
Wait, so to be clear, she doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger, right?
that's when they get to present the evidence, why they are going to stand there before a judge and be like, yes, we need to move this forward. It's not just an affidavit. We're not pulling together scraps. We have concrete evidence. Until then, okay, until we all get on the same page and understand what else they have, I am very confident stating the opposite of all of my, I guess, well-paid peers in that I don't believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. And what I also said to them was, and I said this in front of the lawyer because I don't know why I'm like this. I was like, you might need a new lawyer. I was like, because this person's trying to sell to you that this is solid. One of the rules that me and my husband have is that if you have a lawyer that tells you like you're 100% going to win, it's very clear that you're going to win. You need a new lawyer. Okay, that's a cheerleader. That's not a lawyer. A lawyer, even if you should 100% win, should be telling you the risks here. You know, I feel good about this case. Like, let me talk real to you. I feel good about this case, but here's where things could go wrong. I want you to understand those risks that are involved. We don't have this yet. We don't have that yet. And especially,
And this sounds
given what
schizophrenic.
told them,
I sound
which is,
schizophrenic.
I'm the only, your lawyers, or the investigators rather, not their lawyers, because they're not the ones investigating. It's the same people that's investigating.
Investigators.
They have not called the.
I'm borrowing that, okay? Guys, this is where I get all my catchphrases from, okay? This is where I get all my catchphrases from. Anytime I need a catchphrase, I'm like, what would Candace Owens say? What would Candace Owens say? What kind of thing would she spit? How would she spit? How would she spit? And then she says like, so these domesticators, I'm like, got it.
One solitary person,
Thank you.
as I told you guys, who filmed as he was on the roof. Remember the guy that's like, oh, there's somebody on the roof, and he sees him crouched down. I said, I spoke to that person, and his testimony would be devastating to your prosecution. He did not, he saw the person on the roof. He filmed the person on the roof at 12:23 p.m. And he did not see that person take the shot. And this is not some random student. This is a guy who trains people to shoot guns at a range. He knows guns, okay? He said what he saw was a smaller gun. He said that this person was dressed in black tactical gear and there was no recoil. That's devastating to...
We are so back, guys. Lynn, you gotta donate, okay? All right? My favorite Oiler. Okay, one of my favorite Oilers, okay? I'm watching your queen, Candace Owens, okay? That means you have to donate, okay?
That would be devastating to the prosecution. And yet, investigators haven't reached out. Now, they offered back, well, maybe they haven't reached out because they have an even clearer video. And that's true. That's actually a good rebuttal.
So
But
Brandon, I don't trust my water
the video will
bottle
speak
now.
for itself, and we saw what we saw. Okay, but wouldn't you still want to speak to the other guy so you could prepare? I don't know, to question him something.
Yeah.
I don't like that this investigation is going on, and I feel as though I spoke to more people than they have. Both of the people who filmed videos that day told me that they weren't reached out to.
Just a drink. A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Lynn, thank you so much for the $50 super sticker. It's a hippo transforming into a Gundam, okay? Or a Transformer. That's a Transformer, okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate that, okay? See, all you have to do is ask, okay? I just simply ask, and I get what I want, okay? Okay. Lynn, thank you so much for the 50. I appreciate that. Holy shit! It's been a while. Thank you.
So I don't understand what's happening here. I don't understand the confidence.
You're very
Is
kind.
the best way to say this. I told him I do not understand the confidence that is happening. Now, another really big thing that happened was they brought me Mikey's call logs, okay? They brought me Mikey's call logs, and that is why I said this was a productive meeting.
Okay, also, you have to keep donating as long as I watch Candace, okay? But for now, I'm satiated. Okay, thank you.
There is no other way to say it. I asked every question, and they came with paperwork to show and to answer and to explain certain things. Also, which was, I thought, actually kind of sweet, that I guess I did on the previous show. I was like kind of looking at things into Mikey, and I couldn't find him. And
You're
someone
so
said,
back,
I think
boys.
Mikey's not his real name. They thought it was his middle name, actually. And I just assumed, okay, well, maybe he's using his middle name, and that's why I can't find him. But Mikey really wants you guys to know that is his real name, and it is his real name. I found out shortly thereafter that they were
what is this thing about
his
Mikey?
middle name with they thought it was switched. That Michael is his real name.
Okay.
Just to clarify that, because I realized I actually didn't go back and clarify that. But Mikey's call logs, big piece of this. Okay, I'm going to, I guess, jog your memory on what Blake said about Mikey that day, and then I'll tell you what actually happened, because I don't think Blake has that great of a memory. Okay, take a listen.
So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realize there hasn't been another shot, so the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And I will never forget what I saw, because
I will always support my queen Candace's crusade against the traditional right wing, okay? My queen Candace can never go wrong, okay? My queen Candace is spitting on God facts, okay? I don't know what she's talking about, and frankly, I do not care, okay?
seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years.
Yes,
I know
Mikey,
his personality
right.
very well. He's
We all
a very
know him.
bubbly guy. He's a very
You know him,
happy
I know
guy
him,
almost
we all
all
know
the
him.
time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before.
Quivering,
and you
okay.
very rarely see from
Sexually?
someone. He was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erica. And then he takes his phone, and he begins calling Erica. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. The mind extends all of this, but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls
Scary
Erica.
checkpoint for...
I, around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, hey, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now. And that's what he told him.
Well, why do people say pray? Like, why do people talk about praying as if it's like charging up a fucking spirit bomb? Every single time somebody talks about praying, it's always like, oh my god, we got to charge it the spirit bomb. We have to contribute more healing energy. It's like, it's so whoa, it's so cheesy.
because that's just not right. And so
Okay.
when he says, I might be imagining this, I'll never forget, followed by I might be imagining this, probably means that maybe you forgot and like you really could be imagining. Now, for me
Friendly.
personally, I think the normal physiological response in these high adrenaline situations for most people is you lock in. That they're literally your body, when it goes through something, when it's terrified,
Oh
is
my
going through like sort of
God,
like,
dude, what
you
the
are
fuck?
really paying attention to details. We've learned about this many times over in health class growing up. This is why they talk about that fight or flight response, and quite literally there's stuff happening to your body. And so there's a lot of details here that are just not accurate. And the one that surprised me the most about these call logs is I certainly feel
Well,
that we were
why
given
did he
the impression
defeat
over
the
and over and
thing?
over again
Oh my God.
that the first person Mikey called was Erica.
What the fuck?
He called Erica. He was trained. We were told this
Why
by
is he just running?
many people. Also, that he trained. Like he almost like went to a camp and trained. And Charlie was like, 1, 2, 3, go. And like fast. 1, 2, 3, go, go. That's why he walked away. 1, 2, 3, go. And just told him, this is what the first thing you do is. Well, he didn't do that. Actually, the first person he called was his wife. He called Elizabeth McCoy, and then he stayed on the phone with his wife
I want to
for 10
burn you.
minutes.
Just believe you're right. We had to
And
pray.
during those 10 minutes, he three-wayed Erica 3 minutes after the shot went off. And then he three-ways his father. And then he three-ways a third person who I'm not interested in mentioning because it's not relevant.
He three-wayed his father. What do you mean by that? What do you
This is Daniel
mean by
Quinlan,
that?
his brother that's in the military, but
What
that's
do you-
before the shot goes off.
What do you mean
Charlie
by
Kirk
that?
shot goes off. I have that in detail. Charlie's brought to security. Mikey McCoy calls his wife. They
Oh my
will stay on the phone for
God.
10 minutes. Okay. In that same minute, because we know this because Blake Neff has given us his call log to his mother. Blake Neff called his mom. His call with his mother lasted 45 seconds. So we're assuming it went to 12:25. It very well could have stayed in 12:24, depending on the millisecond. Blake Neff ends that phone call with his mother. Mikey McCoy, after the phone call with his mother
Where's
ends,
the three gone?
adds Erica to the phone. Okay, so that when he was recapping and he's like, oh, his lips quivering, and he's like, I gotta call Erica. He's like, and then
Lips
I called my mom.
quivering. Three-way.
That's not right. That's just not right. Okay, Mikey called
Okay.
Erica after Blake Neff
think we
ended
need
that phone call
to-
with his mother. If
I
call
think we
logs
need to
are be
chill,
believed
okay?
above, human testimony. Mikey McCoy then drops Erica from the phone call 2 minutes later, and then he adds his father to the phone call. Again, he is this entire time on the phone with his wife. Okay, and then Mikey McCoy ends his phone call with his father. He does call another person who I'm not mentioning because it's just not relevant to anything, not a character in the story, rather. And then he ends the phone call with his
But
wife.
who is
And a
that
minute
person
later,
who is
his
who
brother
you're not
calls him
mentioning?
back, and they stay on
He's
the
doing
phone
this
for
on
10 minutes.
purpose? Might be.
I did not get this from
Maybe.
everybody speaking about this Mikey McCoy call log. I know that you guys did not get this. I did not get this. I don't know why she was disappeared from this. Like, you could go, like, the wife wants privacy. No, she was like, main stage at the memorial, has been, I would say very involved in a lot of this kind of, I think it's very close that she's close with Erica.
Oh, you're fresh in there.
They went on vacation together. So I don't get this disappearing act. I found that to be like, okay, but they were forthcoming with it. That feels good. That feels good, guys. Like, wow, we don't have to guess. Now we have solid answers. And like I said, when you come out and give solid answers and you're not weird and calling people names and saying all this stuff, it allows people to go, okay, I feel a bit more like we can trust this process because we have communication.
Oh,
That's
shit.
the reality. And so I wanted to update you with that. Also, another thing that really, I think, surprised them and I think surprised me is getting back to this Hamptons retreat. The thing about the Hamptons retreat, and I communicated this with them, that makes me so uncomfortable is how many little lies were told. I think I've been clear about that. Like, Steph Dillon definitively pressed Charlie at this event. Now, whether it was in a hypothetical, which it was in a hypothetical, but he got fired up in the hypothetical of Charlie discussing potentially tweeting something against Bibi Netanyahu, it did lead to this firecracker moment. Again, this is one of those things where I go, why am I always being hung out to dry for telling people the truth? Especially when I wasn't going, oh, well, Seth Dillon killed Charlie Kirk. I just, this happened. It factually happened. And yet everybody's kind of putting out these weird statements and they're not being honest in them. And I was saying to them, that made me feel really weird. And
They're all in on
I
it.
would love to know more and about this Bibi Netanyahu offer
You're onto something,
to
Candace.
fund
You're onto
Turning Point to the next
something.
level. At which point,
Let's-
Erica said she was
let's
unaware
keep
of
looking.
that happening.
We need to
It is
look
obviously
inwards as
totally
well,
possible
okay?
that
We need to
that
look
was kept
inwards.
in the business lane of Turning Point USA. But I'm certain, I said, I am absolutely certain that I did not get this from an obscure
Friendly.
source that Bibi offered to fund Turning Point to the next level. And it was part of my frustration with that sit down with Alex Clark, where
Oh, yeah.
Andrew said,
I
oh,
can't
there's
reach
not
it 'cause it's-
$150 million that's made
Oh,
up.
my God.
I told them, Andrew Colvett was my source. Andrew Colvett told me, verbatim, that Bibi
Locked door
Netanyahu
left
offered to take
and
Turning Point to the
right.
next level and that Charlie turned that money down.
Amazing.
So I said, there's a bit of a predicament
Oh.
when I'm being
There's a
like
shredder
lambasted by
somewhere.
all of these voices and people that are attacking me and these paid campaigns. And when I say paid, yes, okay, actually have the names of people. Different ways they're being paid. Some are being paid by PR firms.
This
Too many
place
are
is
being
a
paid by
fucking
Brigham
maze.
University, which is upsetting to me because I know
I
Melissa.
played this. I
and
played
it's
this
just
map
dirty.
so many times, but like I still don't know where I'm
It's
going.
especially crazy when people are calling it a conspiracy when I share things that are told to me from the spokesperson of Turning Point USA. Okay, that's weird. And yes, they were forthcoming. Nobody's ever denied this, so this was not on our list of lies about the fact that Bibi Netanyahu did call him. Okay, that did happen. Bibi shared that, by the way. Our source for that could have just as well been Bibi Netanyahu. And not a lot of clarity on, I don't know, why some people think he didn't make this offer and why definitively 3 different sources who would have knowledge of this confirmed to me that Bibi Netanyahu did indeed make this offer. I never said $150 million ever, not once on the show. I wouldn't have even said that, by the way. If you said take Turning Point to the next level, I actually would have assumed it was more, if I'm being honest. That's a hefty offer and it leads to a lot of questions. So
Cringe, get good.
there was
Shut up.
not a lot of clarity there.
Nerd.
Lastly, I want to add, of course, I was locked in this
your
meeting
mom
when
said
people
last night.
online were another round of debunking the
me.
Egyptian planes. I want to be very
'Cause I
clear.
couldn't pleasure
we discussed
her.
the Egyptian planes, and I have since worked on an incredible document about the Egyptian planes, which we are going to put on our website
what?
because I realized that
Hello?
when we shared that spreadsheet, people assumed that one of the columns, which was actually saying where the planes landed on that day, because it was
Okay.
plus or minus 3 days, was exactly where Erica had been on that day, and that was inaccurate. And so for clarity, I had been working on the last week on turning it into an interactive timeline that we can put up on our website.
Sometimes the AI does
because I'm
funny
certain
things.
that these Egyptian planes are incredibly shady, and that they were in fact tracking Turning Point USA faith broader events. Of course, Erica was at some of them, Charlie was at some of them, but it is the pattern here
Any
is
girl
undeniable. So
pleasures?
let the
Not me.
naysayers and people make videos trying to, what are we, 5th round debunk these planes. I also want to say to you that I feel very confident that I know why these planes have caused such panic, and it is because there is overwhelming evidence that these planes regularly fly in and out of Israel. And I'm going to present that evidence tomorrow. I say that strongly. This is the...
There
I
it
feel
is,
very
guys.
confident saying these Egyptian planes are flying in and out. And notice I'm saying
Okay.
planes because once I was able to connect people that were on those planes onto other Egyptian planes, I was able to realize that these planes are flying in and out of Israel.
There it
And turning their
is.
transponder off each time that they do it. That is now makes perfect sense
What?
of why there was this mass panic, right? It's not exactly like we have a strong Egyptian lobby in the United States. Not
Why do these
those
bombs
darn
jump?
Egyptians again are trying to get TikTok censored. I mean, every
Wow,
person in the
you
game
just
Barry,
exploded
acting.
for no
These are
reason.
the usual suspects that act if something is a threat to Israel.
Good job. Oh, shit.
Which is, they should have just been forthcoming.
Why is there so
Changing the
many?
part. Instead, they're trying to gaslight us, and they're actually, frankly, just pissing me off. So I became locked in on these Egyptian planes because that's how I am. Okay, you keep pushing me and keep pushing me.
Oh.
I will become an expert on these planes. I'll learn how to build an Egyptian plane. The reality is,
What?
like I said, tomorrow I will show you.
What are you
how
talking
these planes
about?
tie back
Candace!
to Israel. And there's
Candace,
no,
what are you talking?
there's no disproving this. So more on that later. We'll be right back after.
You'll become an
the
expert
release of
on
our
what
sponsors.
now?
All right, you guys, when they double down on abortion, we know that we have to double down on supporting life. Through our partnership with Preborn, we can help
Hey,
save
you know what?
babies
I'm gonna
and
watch
support
this ad
mothers
this
that are in
time.
need. Every day,
I wanna see what
Preborn's
this is
clinics rescue
about.
hundreds of babies because when a mother sees her baby on an ultrasound and hears that tiny heartbeat, her chance at choosing life doubles. And now, thanks to a generous match program, your gift will also be doubled. That means twice as many ultrasounds, twice as many lives saved, and twice as many mothers are given
Bro,
hope. We're
that's
also providing diapers,
crazy.
car seats, counseling, and care for up to 2 years. If you've heard about Preborn before and you've not yet taken action, there is no better time to do so than right now. Their work is some of the most important work to help heal our country.
God.
One ultrasound is just $28. You can also give 10 times that amount, obviously. Head to preborn.com/Candace if you'd like to give. That's
Thanks, Candace.
preborn.com/Candace. Also want to
Okay,
tell you guys about
Candace.
PDS debt, because whether you are struggling with credit cards, personal loans, or medical bills, PDS debt has
PTS
custom options
debt?
to help you get out of debt. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and to craft a personalized
Wait,
plan that's designed just for you.
PTS
There's no
debt?
minimum credit score that's required. They're here to help you save more,
Like you
pay off
replaced
your debt
the
faster, and start putting money
D
back where it
in
belongs, which is in your
PTSD?
pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the
What?
Better Business Bureau. It boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google,
What?
and it holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Why? Because PDS has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of
Bruh.
debt. Every month you wait, it costs you more in interest and fees. The best time to start was probably yesterday. The second best is
I
right
thought
now.
PB
Do not
Ducey
wait
was
another month.
wild.
Take back control in 30
There's
seconds.
something-
Get your free
there's something
personalized
wild in PB
assessment
Ducey
and
now.
the best option for you
I
at
have PDS debt. Oh my God, DG Clips, listen.
Again, that's PDSdebt.com.
Did you see that Dan broke the
/Candace.
ceasefire?
Also, if you've been asking where the best place is to watch my show without the tech overlords
Oh my
deciding what you
God.
are allowed to see or what topics are considered quote unquote acceptable, well, honestly, the answer is Rumble. If you're not already on Rumble, Rumble is the free speech video platform where you can find my show, and we're a huge community of independent creators, people who are sick of censorship, demonetization, and shadow banning, are building
Yeah.
real audiences. Most people do not realize this, but Rumble actually hosts some of the largest political live streams in the world. It's the place where creators can speak freely without having their reach throttled or their content buried by an agenda-driven algorithm that's working against them. And here's the best part. Getting started takes about 10 seconds, and it is completely free. Just grab.
You mean the algorithm of the free market? Like, you mean just all algorithms? Question mark? Agenda free algorithm. That's the algorithm in general, because the algorithm is made in such a way that it would appeal towards people in general. Yeah, anyway. Dan breaks C's heart for no reason. Let's go. I have no idea what I just read your title from earlier. Well, he did. Yeah, he did. I mean, just, like, go back and then you can see it, but... Good memes, okay? Now go, My Propaganda Network.
Your phone, open the App Store or Google Play, type in Rumble, and hit download. Once you're in, you can search for Candace Owens and click follow so that you never miss a new episode. You'll get notified every time that I go live. If you care about free speech, if you want platforms that respect your right to think for yourself,
yeah, he literally said as
big
well.
Tech deciding what's allowed, then this is the moment that you can make the switch. Your voice matters, and the platforms that you choose matter just as much. You can move to Rumble today. Just click the link in the description below, download the app, and join us there. I'll see you there.
Wait, is this the thing?
Okay,
that's
so a couple of things I want to say.
loaded?
First and foremost, I just got a live update that I thought it was Danny McCoy on the call log. I should totally correct that, and I will correct that. And we'll be sure to pin it in post here, but it is not Danny McCoy. It is Danny, another one of Charlie's assistants. So I will correct that. Please correct that if you're going to make videos. Not Danny McCoy that called him and then called him after. That is another assistant of Charlie's. So we want to be accurate.
We love a fact-checking queen.
In my head, I may have done that. Okay,
Spitting.
another thing. You guys may have been noticing that we are getting into this weird space where they seem to be almost writing like Candace Owens fan fiction. I can't even reply to things, and a lot of you sense that this was because we were getting close. I agree.
Low
I fully
IQ
agree
conspiracy
that these attacks
is the threat to high
hysterical.
IQ conspiracy.
I can't even
Okay,
begin
remember.
to tell you the conversations between me
Blair White was
and my
spitting
PR
there.
person. I'm like, there's nothing to respond to. I mean, there's not even one sentence of this that is true. Case in point, by the way, New York Post does this article today. We were actually laughing, okay? Like, inside Candace Owens' sadistic and dangerous world, monetizing baseless conspiracies. This is after, by the way,
You know
they
what?
changed my husband's
That's capitalism,
Wikipedia
baby.
and said that he was a Qatari, like he had a
That's free
Qatari passport or
speech.
citizenship. I don't
Oh,
think my husband's ever
yeah.
even flown over Qatar. I could be wrong, but I don't think I know he's never been to Qatar. I don't think he's ever flown over Qatar. And they're just making it up, and then they make it trend no matter what it is. And I'm like, this is happening. It's like a psychological operation because they're trying to keep us constantly responding as
Candace.
opposed to focusing on our investigation,
Looking
which is why
into
I
this.
spent this weekend and I just kept down on the Egyptian plains because it's completely crazy. And when you see a media storm like this, it can only be happening because Zionists are locking arms and going attack because they by and large control the media. They just do.
Let's go.
Okay? One way or the other, Zionists
Candace,
control the empire
Schizo
media,
Queen.
and they are scared about
Oh
something.
my
in this
god, what would I
investigation.
ever
We've
do
noticed that from
without
the very
Candace,
beginning.
dude?
So they wrote in this article, the New York Post, just to give you an example of how insane this is. They said they had an inside source that told them that while I was at the Daily Wire, I just fought with people from the very source that in
She's leaning into the plausibly deniable. Dude, Candace, listen, Candace is my strongest soldier against the right now, okay? All right? When the mainstream right-wing narrative is, oh, we gotta think about all of these Charlie Kirk connections. We gotta think about Charlie Kirk. We have to be respectful to Charlie Kirk. She's the one that goes, fuck Charlie Kirk. Fuck Erica Kirk. Here's my conspiracy to prove it. And I'm like, this is my favorite soldier. The only soldier that can defeat a bunch of schizos is another schizo, okay? Never forget that, okay? It takes a schizo to defeat a schizo. Let's go.
my first week, I threw
Oh,
my
yeah.
car keys at a producer and expected them to park my car. That sentence genuinely made me laugh so hard because I never once in the entire time that I
Queen
worked
shit.
for the Daily Wire did I ever drive my car to work. Okay, I just didn't. They had a driver that took me there. So I don't know why I would suddenly take the driver's keys and then throw it at somebody, but quite literally, I never drove through Daily Wire. So it's just when I say fan fiction, I'm like, this is fan fiction. Secondly, they say that to a producer and that I demanded others do my research could not be further from the truth. I have always done my own shows. I can't read a script. I riff my shows. I think that's pretty obvious. That I demanded a huge studio, attempted to use their PR firm to get the cover of People magazine, like full fan fiction. There's not even a shred. I don't even think we ever had a conversation about People magazine because that would not be a normal outlet. for any conservatives, that I wanted to be on the cover of People is insane. And they said that their sources also said that like my team hated me. My team came with me when I got fired. My whole team's here. So I was just going, okay, what is happening here? Why are we talking about Qatar? Why are they making these things up? And I have come to the same conclusion as you. It is because we are dangerously close to something. I think we have to keep pushing on the Huachuca Air Base, which we are doing. And tomorrow we are going to get back into the investigation. We're just going to ignore the noise because, as I've said and as I have maintained, I believe that Charlie was betrayed by people that are close to him. And I asked that question in the meeting. I'm like, okay, if we can agree that everyone around, I know they're not good people, right?
He was
and it's
betrayed?
People, if
Also,
they
good
have
loot this round, by
addictions,
the way.
that you
Great
can
stuff.
definitively get yourself in a scenario where you are willing to sell somebody out. This is a massive organization.
He was,
How can
guys,
we
he was
so confidently
betrayed.
state that
He was
nobody had anything to do
betrayed.
here, to do
Charlie
with,
Kirk was
anything here?
betrayed.
And I think that one of the
she
things
does
that
it for
Erica was
her
like, well, I'm not like a
friend,
feminist,
okay?
and I didn't want the vibe of that, which I think it did come across like a bit of a feminist, to say like, this is all my family. I'm like, how could this all be your family? I know people in this family, and they're not good people. I wouldn't even do that with my own family,
God.
okay? I got people in my family, like we all do, you know, who aren't exactly walking a straight arrow in life. And yeah, so I've communicated
that mean?
I have not changed my position on that. I am not going to
my
stop
God.
researching
My
the characters
aim.
in this
My
that
aim.
I don't feel good about. But further to sort of them just creating and making things up.
Wow, thank
Tim
you.
Pool has now gone out
Getting
and
attacked by a
extraordinarily
swarm of
claimed
spiders.
that I have the same security as Charlie Kirk, and that I'm a fraud, and that actually I have the exact same security. You will recall that Tim just said a week ago that I have no security. Okay, this is Tim Pool a week ago.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with the we have to deal with. She's a piece of
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. She doesn't give two No one's out there. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security.
He's molding.
So that was
He's
like Tim last Monday.
molding.
This is
Let's
Tim,
go.
who said I had no security except for one fat guy.
Oh my
which I told you
God,
is
my
not true. Now he's saying this.
queen.
Take a listen.
My
Okay,
queen.
I'll say things I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say 'cause I always get super heated on this.
Oh, my
Candace
queen.
Owens has the same security team as Turning Point and Charlie Kirk did. She's lying. She has the same security people. I've been digging into this. I've been meeting with people and talking with them. And I shouldn't say too much because there's more that's going to be coming out soon. Because rest assured, people are filing legal paperwork against her. Candace has the same security team or has used the same security companies and the same security personnel as Charlie and Erica did. So when she comes out and is questioning them,
Wow, awesome.
she is lying.
I'm so glad I was so close.
Now, I've invited many of these people to come on. We'll see what happens. We'll see when they can. The issue is, the moment Candace goes on her show to millions of people and lies, litigation begins. And what happens when litigation begins? People don't do interviews about it. She is exploiting this, and she knows she is, to keep people wrapped up in this insanity.
Tim versus Tim, undefeated. And what I will also say is that's all a lie. It's almost like they have just sent a call, like they're getting too close, and just said, I don't care what you write, I don't care if it's complete fiction, make it believable. Say her husband beats her. Say her it's coming after my husband. They're coming after me, and they're making stuff up. I have never employed the same security team as Charlie Kirk ever. We went our separate ways early. Actually, there was it's obviously been publicized before he had Schaefer Security. And Schaefer Security, which was run by Greg Schaefer, who has issued a public statement, they had Dan Flood and Brian Harpool working for them initially. I told Charlie I did not like the security apparatus. I got my own.
The leopards are
security
eating
from
each
Charlie
other's
from the very
face?
beginning, okay?
True.
That's a fact. It just is a fact. There's no way to undo that fact. Trying to
True.
do this strategy of you're going to get sued, it's just threatening somebody. If there was any truth to that, you can't just file legal paperwork. You have to send a cease and desist. You have to say, something you said on your show was untrue. Can you please correct this? Okay? And if I ignore that, as I did with Brigitte because I told the truth, as I did with Kim Clasey because I told the truth, then you have the grounds to file something. We have received no cease and desist from Charlie's Security whatsoever. Over what? I mean, the audacity that you're filing a lawsuit and someone got murdered on your watch because I accurately said that the Brian Harpool, the message he showed belonged.
I'm pretty sure a cease and desist isn't even like you're free to ignore a cease and desist, but you just might get sued afterwards, okay? So careful. But hey,
Dan
no one's
Flood,
stopping
they did,
you.
And that they didn't do a walkthrough on that day.
Also, she has
They
enough
didn't.
money. She has enough money to do a
something
lawsuit,
wrong,
okay?
and you'd like to show
she'll
me
be
that
fine.
actually you did.
She has enough money.
Send it over. We're only interested in getting the truth, and we're not getting it. We're certainly not expecting to get it from Tim Pool. That is crazy. That's just crazy town. But I do think that is right now design and strategy, and that's why I want to encourage you guys to stay focused. Huachuca, which we're going to have a lot on tomorrow.
Bro, I just want to see Tim Pool crash out. Like, what more do you want? What more do you want than like one of the most reprehensible like features in this entire space crash out. Oh my god. I legitimately hate Tim Pool more than Candace Owens. And you know what? You know what? Candace Owens has been doing some good work. Okay? Alright? She's been pissing off Nick Fuentes. She's been pissing off Tim Pool. Look, alright? This is queen shit. That's queen shit. Alright? Nothing can take that part away from her. Alright?
Because there is something there, and I think that caused a panic, as well as the Egyptian planes, which I am telling you go back, relate to Israel, and I will be able to prove that tomorrow for all of the naysayers. And again, it's only because this is how they act. If they always overreact, and then it lets us know that we are close. They are like an alarm. They are just an alarm. Something else that I wanted to show you, by the way, I thought we were not supposed to be doing live streams while we were speaking, but Turning Point, I guess, has their daily show, but that I didn't feel like that was communicated to me. It felt like a ceasefire, and then it got violated. But they had an interesting conversation on their show yesterday, on the Charlie Kirk show, about this trial, the upcoming trial, about Tyler Robinson, and here is what they had to say. Take a listen.
So this is straight from the charging document. It says Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male, who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a, quote, stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. And when you see how easy that rooftop access
this is where I'll make my
start
stand.
to kind of put one and one together, and you realize that Robinson had a plan that he was going to ultimately take advantage of, and he obviously knew how easy it was to get up to that rooftop, which is terrifying.
It really is. And look, one of the other things that's being pushed around for a long time was that, TPUSA, both the local chapter and you guys, didn't advertise this event till a couple days prior to. Now, the insinuation there is that doesn't give Tyler enough time to plan for this. And what we found out with a little bit of, 20, not even 5 minutes of Googling and looking. Yeah. Look, you guys had already put out on your website as early as August 27th. So we had at least almost a full 2 weeks prior to this.
Fine.
That not only the time of the event,
two in a
but
row.
the location, the exact location of
I fought enough of you guys.
So when you have over 10 days of planning, and it sounds like that Tyler already was familiar with the campus to begin with, like a lot of the mystery of this starts to go out the window, and it starts to really conform with what is exactly being proposed by the state of Utah and the FBI in the charging documents.
Yeah, and we can attest, Andrew Cipher, who's our head of field, Charlie sometimes throw the events out, 7-10 days in advance. If something opened up in his schedule, he would be able to do these outdoor events pretty quick.
Out of ammo!
And so those whole that whole theory kind of goes out the window.
So, unless I am mistaken, and I am not perfect, but I do feel like we worked really hard to see when this
I don't need ammo to finish the job.
The first time that we found that the courtyard was mentioned, because Charlie's speaking at events, so your assumption would be they're inside, right? You have no idea where it is, so it's not like you can see whether you have a shot to the courtyard unless you know Charlie's speaking in the courtyard. The earliest that we found
Come forth and meet your
was on
destiny.
September 2nd. The local media mentioned on KMYU that Charlie was speaking at UVU in the courtyard. Okay, that's the first time that we found this. If I am wrong, please tag me, because what he's referring to on August 27th that happened, which we have on our timeline as well, Mrs. White on the timeline,
you
is
and
that
me,
TPUSA, UVU, and the local BYU chapter shared a graphic announcing that Charlie was coming to UVU, but there were absolutely no location details mentioned. So that actually does shred the idea that he could have practically gone and scaled rooftops before September 2nd.
Oh my God.
That's the first public mention is September 2nd. So they announced the event on August 27th, as he says, no location details. And then on September 2nd, there are location details provided by local media for the first time. Prove me wrong. Okay? Prove me wrong if that is, if I'm inaccurate, because I do think that we were thorough on that. I will update my timeline. If not, it does then beg the question, surely they must have footage after September 2nd of him testing
that was a battle of a lifetime. A battle between
realize,
gods.
Oh, it's going to be an outdoor event. This is an opportunity for me to go after him. We are waiting for that. And like I said, I was told that they don't have anything that the public doesn't have. So it's not obvious to me. I don't think it's obvious to the public. Now, I do want to get to Viva Frey.
No, I don't have time for you.
Had
Bye.
this to say regarding drones. Oh, sorry. Around regarding the text messages from Tyler Robinson.
A lot has been made about these text exchange that went back and forth between Robinson and his lover, his trans, furry, gay lover, whatever. And people say it doesn't sound right. Well, there is a video that I want everybody to check out by Turkey Tom. I believe you've watched it now, Viva.
Turkey Tom?
And this has been authenticated as somebody who was in the Discord chats with them and apparently spent time with them at this apartment. And he said 100% this is how they talked, which is a striking finding. We're going to go into that more probably tomorrow or the next day, depending on how today goes. But I mean, I get the skepticism on this. At
Hello?
first, it struck me too, but apparently this is how they talk, Viva.
That was not the most implausible thing
What
to believe.
timeline
So you
are
have a
we
text
in right
message.
now?
It does read.
What
Regardless of
timeline
whether or
are
not
we?
this is how they
Like,
talk.
hello?
People
Am
saying
I-
they were manufactured by or drafted
Am I
by
live?
AI.
Am I
To the
dead?
extent
I
that
can't tell if I'm
confirmed text messages, you can
I'm so
come to whatever
confused.
conclusions you want after that. But whether or not this is how they talk regularly, to the extent that those were authentic text messages, they show what they show, which is
Okay.
whether or not.
One of these days, they're gonna mention. Oh my god, this is the fucking. Oh my god, this is the Canadian lawyer guy. Oh my god, fuck this guy. Oh my. This is the person that Destiny and Pisco debated.
His lover was aware of what was going on. You're etching bullets, and it's maybe not for target practice of a sporting nature.
That was a crazy round.
Like when I say I don't believe the official narrative, and you have to go back to a number of things here. I put my sort of best theory as to what went down. I want to know who was on the Discord chat in advance, what they were discussing, and whether or not there might have been some other foreign, I say foreign, not foreign government, but outer influence there. Tyler Robinson is getting radicalized right about the same time as Thomas Crooks, right about the same time as the other guy, Ryan Ruth. He's being radicalized at a politically relevant period of time, right around the same time, oddly enough, as the alleged suspect in the January 6th pipe bomber. A time frame where political violence.
Wow, it's almost as if shit gets trendy, and then people act out when things get trendy. Wow. I am amazed by their ability to think. Truly, the most impressive thinking prowess I have ever seen.
Is potentially very
Amazing.
useful in for the upcoming election.
Okay.
So the time frame of the radicalization is very interesting. To see whether or not he was on anybody's radar beforehand, we don't yet know that, and why there would not be confirmation on that can lead to suspicion. You remember the old man, George Zinn, arrested for claiming to be the shooter the day of, and then gets busted for CP on his phone. Like, in my mind, if I'm making a plausible theory here, George Zinn was probably on some Discord chat with a bunch of young perverts, and he's an old pervert, and he's getting off doing whatever they do on those chats. He knows what's going down. He shows up there and thinks he's going to be some useful decoy or distraction for Tyler Robinson because they know what's going down. That's my theory. But it is the absence of total disclosure, the total lack of faith that anybody has, not just in the FBI per se, but in any state law enforcement. Nobody has any faith in our institutions anymore, and it leads people to go from healthy skepticism to just not believing it to concocting the most outlandish conspiracy theories imaginable. But then those text messages, you can understand how they will cause people to come to those types of conclusions. And allegedly the rumors are Kash Patel getting mad at Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent for trying to look into a potential terrorist angle to this also does nothing to foment faith in the system.
Look, I think it's what he's saying there is perfectly valid, and we can all surmise about what we think happened that day. We can also ignore the fact that I broke the story that the nurses were told at Utah Valley, which treated George Zinn. Everyone's just ignoring the things that I broke. She has no evidence, but he said he told nurses that he was paid to do that. So whatever, we can all theorize, which we're going to do in the absence of any concrete facts. But I will say it's good that Turning Point is at least giving that air. Right, I feel before. I think that might even be the first time Andrew Ouellette has expressed that he thought that those messages were weird initially. That's good. That's what people want. They want fresh air at Turning Point USA. They want different perspectives. They want to feel like you're willing to have a conversation, and that at least you're going to defend people when they're being called liars when they're telling the truth about something. That would feel more authentic, I think. And so I am.
Are too many Canadians?
Very happy.
Like, why don't anybody talk about the real JQ? Okay, the Jaguar, the Jaqua question, okay?
That we are on much better feet and that we have opened the lines of communication.
I messed that up.
I do genuinely think that Justin Strife did a great job reffing that conversation yesterday. And I also do want to shout out Megyn Kelly, because this was we were trying to make this happen in the background really since Blake Neff fumbled the first invite. And thank you. That's in large part because of you guys at home that were like, what the F was that? And I think that they got enough flack that they were like, okay, we got to fix this. But I want to commend him for making it happen, for being the person that, kind of rolled up his sleeves and was like, okay, let's actually make a conversation happen and start answering some questions, which I think was done well. And Megyn Kelly, who was initially going to, when we were going to live stream the conversation before the Barry Weiss moment, Megyn Kelly offered to ref that conversation. I felt like she would have done a very good job. I do think that she has kept it very even. She's not been hysterical and it's demonic, it's evil, how dare Candace? And I appreciated that. She has said, I don't agree with Candace, but I also don't think that she's doing this because she's been possessed by a demon. I think she actually believes these things, and I do. And I have a right to believe those things. And I don't feel any differently about the people that I mentioned on the show that I think are shady at Turning Point USA. And with time, we'll see whether or not I was right. I think that's really what it comes down to. But all around, definitely a productive conversation. I know this.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about conspiracy theories, right? You'll never get proof that you're wrong, but you'll never get proof that you're correct either, right? It's a never-ending content machine. That's the entire point of a conspiracy theory, is that it never runs out, right?
4 hours, so more things will come to my mind as they become relevant, but I think that that's a good pause for right now. We'll throw to some of our sponsors. All right, you guys. So for many families, the holidays means excitement and also a little bit of stress.
Oh, no.
Between gifts, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying.
You know what? I hate the holidays for 2 reasons, okay? Reason number 1, it's a reminder that I'm single, okay? Reason number 2, all right? Reason number 2, there's nobody to even give gifts to.
On credit cards to cover the basics.
It's okay.
If that debt is piling up, you should know that you're not alone. If you are a homeowner, you might have considered switching to American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, which is a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high interest debt, free up your cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you are qualified. Call American Financing at 800-795-1210. That's 800-795-1210. Or you can visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. americanfinancing.net/Owens. Also want to tell you guys about Purge Store. You know, they tell you to fear the outside world, but the real danger...
I think we're beyond parody at this point. She's advertising something called Purge Store. There is no self-awareness. There's no self-awareness here. We live in a post-parody society, okay? A post-irony society at this point.
Can be inside of your gut. I'm talking about
Great
parasites.
stuff.
These parasites can come in many different forms, microscopic parasites. There's fungus, worms. This isn't just a third world issue.
Candace.
You can contract parasites from cats, dogs, riding an RV, even eating sushi. But right now, an estimated 4 billion people, which is more than half of the planet, are unwilling hosts to parasites. 60 million Americans alone are suffering from parasites. Parasites can suppress your immunity, cause some cancers, trigger autoimmune responses, and release toxins that fog your mind and drain your energy. If you struggle with losing weight or suffer from crippling fatigue, anxiety, brain fog, an uncontrollable sweet tooth even, or chronic digestive issues, you more than likely could be suffering from parasites. Well, PurgeStore.com offers an organic yet potent all-natural formula that targets and kills parasites and aggressively flushes them from your system. Purge is not a synthetic drug. It is an herbal remedy that is safe, yet powerful, and can be taken daily to prevent future parasitic invasions. Well, right now, you can save 15% off at PurgeStore.com, and be sure to use promo code Candace. Purge Store will also gift you a free colon cleanse with a Purge subscription to help you dislodge and flush everything out of your system. That's promo code Candace at PurgeStore.com.
That's just great.
Okay, couple of housekeeping items you got.
We literally live in a post-truth society. This is it, guys. I think this is the end of humanity is coming near. Okay.
Guys, if you want to make him a sandwich in time for Christmas, you can do that on Amazon. If you want a discount, you can buy it direct from us at makehimasandwich.com. You will actually get 20% off. And we also have signed copies available at CandaceOwens.com. So be sure to do that. We have new merch on the website, which also makes great Christmas gifts. Obviously, we have a lot of fun merch going on right now. Of course, we have our We Know merch, and we have our CIA merch, which we've had for some time. Again, it's the holiday season, so go ahead and run and get that. Top comment from last episode. You better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. That is a direct quotation from Charlie Kirk, and that's why we're doing it. It does keep us free, and we're all sensing the squeeze. It's like they just want our speech. They want to purchase rational thinking. We can't allow that to happen. Okay, from this episode, Curbster writes, I am praying that our girl is playing the ultimate long game while staying true to her convictions and true toward all of us who have backed her and Charlie from the beginning. I am praying that God keeps you strong, righteous, and faithful in every step that you take. May God save America and protect us all. I want to say this to you guys just plainly.
Wow.
If I was going to sell out, it would have happened in the last 2 years, okay? Those off.
No, it's already happened. That's who you are. Everybody knows you to be a sellout. That's the meme.
Were made. Those threats were made. I hope you have seen what I have gone through to keep myself. Really, I was fighting to stay me, and it was hard. It made me really appreciate the fact that we do live in a matrix, and every element is controlled, and that is why they are vicious right now with making up things about me and my family. Because now that I chose freedom, they hate that I have freedom. They hate that there's no more threats to make. Right, so they're just embarking on this fan fiction campaign,
All right,
especially
Candace.
for the people that I care about in life. Right. especially for people whose heads I have held up, who have held up my head through really hard times like Charlie did.
I'm sorry for my deadpan commentary. I'm sorry.
And go, okay, well, you know what? BB offered me a lot of money, so I'm going to stop talking about this, and I'm no longer going to explore this angle, or I'm going to, you know, to repeat to you guys, it was definitely Tyler Robinson. It's just not in my character. I have always been the kind of person that knows that it's not worth living life that way. My whole spirit would be corrupted. I couldn't do it. I struggle with people that can do it. I struggle seeing people who have so obviously sold their souls on the internet. It's very frustrating to watch it. Central 848 writes, can you please look into the possibility that Charlie was electrocuted and that the hole in his neck was made by the currents passing through his necklace and out of his throat? The images of his charred hands are conclusive and compelling. Please, for the love of God, look into this. I did watch that video that Baron Coleman put together. First and foremost, I want to say, Baron Coleman has done some incredible work, and I actually told him that we should get together and collaborate because I had watched a video of his where he was building on Camp Huachuca, and he made me notice some things.
Wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, somehow the currents are coming together to produce a shock, or what?
So then we started researching some other elements, and that's
from
where
the
we
metal on his body.
I can tell you definitively.
But where's the electric current coming from? That's where the blood comes from? I'm so confused.
They do look charred in the photos that he showed.
I'm so
but I can tell you that his hands were not charred when he was buried. And so what you thought that like people were like, oh, this was like makeup and stuff. It was a very compelling theory. It just wasn't so. And I very much trust the person that told me that. But that said, the Baron Coleman, if you have not seen the episode where he builds on what I said about Camp Huachuca, that is worth a watch. He kind of suggests in that episode, which I want to shut down. He suggests that, I think he heavily suggests that it could have been the Veep on the base, Vance on the base, and I did then research. So I was like, oh wow, is he right? There's actually video of Vance, so it could not have been Vance on the base. Again, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here. We should talk about more of that tomorrow. But that is a very compelling video that he did, which was fantastic work, and I do want to collaborate with him. Maybe we'll do it this week or next week Christmas, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Jenna writes, guys. Your true fans had no doubts about you whatsoever. Merry Christmas to you. I was like, are you new here? Girl, I have been maimed, fired, caricature. I'm watching right now. My family go through that right now because they are so desperate.
You say you've been maimed? By what?
And I just think we're close to an awakening and really understanding what real evil is.
Like someone was physically attacking you and trying to fucking rip your guts out, or?
So we're going to keep pushing.
What do you mean by that?
Zachary Loft writes, longtime listener, first-time donor. Why wasn't the combo live? Why is Brandon Tatum the only creator that you follow on both IGs? That was 2 questions. Okay, the first thing, why wasn't the combo live? It was first intended to be live. They did say, obviously, you saw the offer Blake Neff made, which was not a true offer, but then what came behind that was Erica communicating with Megyn Kelly and me. Megyn Kelly was kind of the intermediary. We were trying to find someone that was fair, like I said earlier, and then obviously it sort of felt like it got a bit uglier the next week, and I sort of felt, and I think it was fair, that then she went on this press tour and it was kind of directed at me. So then they said, okay, well, by that I mean Justin Strife kind of said, the temperature's a little hot right now. What about we do like not an off-record conversation, but have a private conversation. And I actually will say, I wished it was live, but I will also say I am glad that some parts warrant, because I was then able to tell them some things that I have not yet said that I wanted to like fact check and get some answers on, but also to say something to them that I found out that I didn't say because I didn't want to hurt the company in a way, right? So some of this is very relevant to Charlie's research and what happened on 910, and some of it is not. So we got to, I guess, have that portion of the conversation I think was better off camera. But I was always open and am still open to live streaming with them whenever. Truly, like whenever. You guys know I'm an open book, so it wasn't my demand that it be private. I was happy to do a live stream, but I think Justin thought that it would
maybe
be
a little bit too open,
just so we could kind of bring the temperature down, which I think was very much accomplished. Temperature was definitely brought down. Zachary Loft wrote, longtime listener for. Oh, sorry, I just read that. Mr. Bruce Lee writes, people in the chat, many other channels are not hearing what they want to hear, so it's automatically
shields.
The chats are so botted.
It's I don't care about.
It's better to actually look at comments after the episode to see what people think. And we've had some people talk about how there are so many bots in the chat, and so focus on obviously the words that I'm saying, and obviously you can tell that I have not been
silencer
because I wouldn't be talking about Israel, and I think there's something to explore there. We'll get into that tomorrow. One Will Wallace writes, pretty clear to me that Kirk was murdered because of his voice and influence. Here's some support toward that security detail. Thank you very much. It's obvious that these people will stop at nothing to silence someone. Continue to stand 10 toes down for the truth, but please be careful. God bless you, Candace. Thank you. That is actually a tremendous donation. Thank you for guys who have been giving these donations, which have gotten bigger because you're concerned about security. And I think everybody after Charlie Kirk's assassination is more concerned about security. It's a discussion that my
Dude, how much money do you think she's making off of this? Millions of dollars. It has to be millions. It has to be millions. Damn. I wish I made that much money.
Husband and I are having more and more.
Holy
and that's
cow.
Why it feels especially disgusting when someone like Tim Pool is trying to signal to people attack her. Like, he's basically trying to signal to people that her
She's so based. Oh my god. Making fun of Tim Pool's appearance. Oh my lord.
security is weak, or like she's using the same security as Charlie. All of these things, like he is trying to put into the air that he wants me to be attacked. That's how I'm taking this. Because why is he making my security a theme on his show? I don't trust that at all, and I don't know what's guiding that. Real Bays writes, how would Erica and the feds not see those messages? That makes
it's so hard, you know, because I know that she's crazy. I know that she's crazy, okay? She's a crazy person, all right? Conduit has an Asmongold video premiere? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Can you link it to me, please? ASAP, right now.
0 cents to me.
Please.
I think you're referring to the messages that Charlie got the night before. Yeah, we didn't discuss whether the feds had received those messages. I will say that. We did not discuss that. But we did discuss, she obviously said that she did not see those messages. So I'm going to read the rest of your comment. How would Erica and the feds not see those messages? That makes 0 sense. Erica, Brian Harpole, and so many others caught in these lies. This is what you fished for. Why go soft? That doesn't make sense. Also heard that we are chilling with TPUSA members at Tucker's party. That's another more fan fiction. I have no idea what that was about. You're referring to a person who went and said that Candace was hanging out with TPUSA and Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene at Tucker's Christmas party. To my knowledge, I did not see any Turning Point USA employees. I did not have a conversation with any Turning Point USA employees. To my knowledge, that I did not see them. It was a massive party. I've never had beef with Tucker. That's why I was at his Christmas party. And I've never had beef with Marjorie Taylor Greene. So yeah, I spoke to them. That's what I mean. It's like the attacks are just every second of every day accusing me of something. And the implication there was like I was like sitting on the side laughing and enjoying a beer with Terrell Farnsworth and Tyler Boyer. I am sure, because Tucker obviously has a good relationship with them, that there were some Turning Point USA employees. I didn't speak to them. To my knowledge. I did not speak to them. So I actually responded and I said to the person, why don't you publish who you're talking about? You don't have to, like, everyone's like beating around the bush. Like, I can't say what I know about her security. Say it, because you're lying. Okay. If you say you know something about how I'm actually secretly laughing with Turning Point USA, speak plainly. I have nothing to hide. I am not the person who's playing any games right now. So if you're going to call me out, go all the way. Okay. Go max on calling me out, because if I'm a fraud, the public sure as hell deserves to know it. And you're not going to find me in a situation like that. Isabella Mazzone writes, can you elaborate more about Charlie and his journey to...
I can't believe in the year of our Lord 2025, Candace Stonks is on the up and up, on both on the left and the right. She just fucked me, dude. Oh my lord. She is everyone's enemy and simultaneously nobody's enemy. She's like, what? Best grifter ever. Holy shit. Absolute cinema. All right. 10 out of 10 cinema right here. You know what? I can't complain. Okay. This cinema is just too, it's too compelling. You know, this amount of cinema. It's
Catholicism.
Just
did Erica confirm that?
Fantastic.
I'm going through a journey with Catholicism as well. And I think that they should be honest about that. Look, obviously Erica confirmed it. I was always telling the truth. That was one of the first things I said. I was like, what was that weird Alex Clark thing? I was being attacked for no reason. And then I get these people doubling down on it. And I know that they know that it's true that Charlie was going to mass. And I can't speak on whether he was close to converting. That's a conversation, like you said. Erica can't speak on that. And
I spent 1 week watching Asmongold. Hey, let's add that. Sorry. Asmongold. Gotta go to bed early today. By early, I mean I gotta wake up at 2 p.m. Based. Wait. Yeah.
there might be a
Okay, anyway. Cool. Now is a good time to end it. Alright.